thought this would be really cute as a shirt, and I thought that I would like love it for line dancing. So that is what I'm going to make. 20 inches in the armhole for one half is 10. So like times two, 20 should be correct. We'll see. I feel like this part is a little long since the other piece is like, wait, very short. So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm making a shirt inspired by this dress from Rodarte's, I think, Spring 2025 collection. So I have been doing line dancing recently, and I feel like I have a lot of clothes, but not things that I want to wear for line dancing. And so I thought this as a shirt would be so cute, especially with like the flowiness, because sometimes with line dancing, there's like turning and all this stuff. So that is what I'm going to make. If you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on my social medias, and let's get into it. In this week's video, I'm going to be making a shirt inspired by this dress from Rodarte 2025 Spring. So when looking for inspiration on what to make next, I was looking through Fashion Week, and I think Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week just happened like last week. And I saw this dress and I kind of liked it, but I didn't want to do a dress, especially because recently I've been doing line dancing. And so I thought this would be really cute as a shirt, and I thought that I would like love it for line dancing. So that is what I'm going to make. Okay, so I have a rough sketch. So this is what I think the pattern pieces are going to look like. So pretty much for the front and the back, what I'm gonna do is start with a regular pattern, like just like pattern block for like bodice block that I have. I'm gonna trace that, and then I'm gonna cut about half where like the V will come and like where the back will end. And then for the front, I'll cut these parts out and use, I think, the slash and spread method to know how much, because then I'm gonna gather them in to give that ruffle effect. And then I'll probably use the bottom part of the pattern that's cut off for like this in the middle. And then I'll also do a piece on the bottom that I will gather as well. And then for the sleeve, I'll have it flare out and probably do an elastic before the bottom to try to give that like little effect. I don't know if all of that actually made sense, but I'm gonna start by tracing the pattern block and cutting out those pieces and like adjusting it. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna start. Okay, I have the pattern pieces cut out. I might have to adjust some of them after I start sewing stuff together. So that's the back, that's the top part of the front, that's the bottom part, that's the band, the sleeve, and then like the bottom part. I will say, I feel like the sleeve is wrong, but I just couldn't really figure it out. So I'm gonna cut out the sleeve and go from there. I mean, the bottom will be big enough that if I do either elastic or I think the thread that you use for like shearing, because I might look into that and get that. I think the bottom will be big enough that it'll give that like ruffle effect when that's added. And I think the top is, I mean, it's half, or it's like it's 20 inches in the armhole for one half is 10. So like times two, 20. Should be correct. We'll see. So either way, I'm gonna start cutting out the pieces and then I will start sewing. Okay, I'm going to sew a stitch across the top and the bottom to gather this. This is the front, like middle piece. So I feel like this part is a little long since the other piece is like, wait, very short. So I'm just gonna gather it and see what that looks like and what that effect gives. So I'm going to sew that and then gather and then probably attach to the top piece, and then I'll attach that to the back piece before I attach the bottom band. Okay, I moved it before I had this laid out, but I moved it before I decided to film. But I have the front and the back pinned together, so I'm going to sew the side and the shoulder seam. And then afterwards, I'm going to, I just lost my train of thought. I'm gonna hem the neckline. I was like, what am I thinking about? I'm gonna hem the neckline before I attach it to the bottom. And then for the band at the bottom, I'm going to attach to the front and back of those before I attach that to the top. So yeah. Okay, so I have the top portion of the shirt sewn. I'm also, this wasn't connected, like I wanted it to overlap and it didn't, so I'll probably add a stitch here. Um, I guess if I can remember, I will try it on so you can see what it looks like without, but since I want to wear this in public, not that I couldn't wear it in public without the stitch, but I just want to feel a little more comfortable, a little more covered, so I'll probably add that stitch once I'm close to done. But for the bottom, I'm going to ruffle that, and I'm going to try this technique, so I'm going to play that video.
Here's a tip for sewing the prettiest gathers. For this example, this is my bodice piece and this is my gathered attachment. First, what we are going to do is sew one line of gathering stitches across the top edge. And a little tip for when you are making a gathered attachment, you want to make it at least 2 times wider than the width of your main piece. And if you want more gathers, you can add a lot more to that. Set your stitch length to 4. And for the seam allowance for this gathering stitch, I'm going to do a 1/4 inch. And when you pull your fabric out of your machine, make sure to leave a tail of threads. Now we have done that row of gathering stitches, and the real secret to perfect gathering is to do 2 more rows of gathering stitches. For my second row of gathering stitches, I'm going to do 3/8 seam allowance. For the last row of gathering stitches, I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here's your 3 rows, and they are quite close to each other, but still within your seam allowance. Now you will separate your top threads from your bobbin thread so that you can pull those top threads to gather the fabric. And the easiest way to gather to make sure that it's at the same width as the piece you're attaching it to is to place it right up next to it. So I'm just going to start pulling my threads to even these gathers out. And you can also pull from the other side. Then once your gathered piece is at the width it needs to be, you can just start evening out these gathers throughout. Now flip up your gathering piece on your main piece and you will pin it together. Now sew those 2 pieces together with your original seam allowance. Now you will iron that seam flat, and I like to press my seam pointing up towards my bodice piece. And that's it. This ensures that your gathers are more like a gather and less of a tuck. Happy sewing!
So I'm going to try doing the 2, I think she did 3. I'm going to do 2, I'm going to do 2 stitches or 2 seams, 2 rows of ruffle and like ruffle that, and then we will see how that looks, and I will attach that to the bottom, and then I will do the sleeve, and I will shear the sleeve. So we will figure that out in a second as well. Okay, here is the shirt so far. So this is the part that I'm probably just gonna do a little seam once I'm done, but I have the bottom on. So now I'm gonna serge it, and then I'm gonna add the sleeve, and then after the sleeve, I'll hem it and do the shearing to give it a little ruffle as well. Okay, you can't really tell, but I have the sleeves pinned on. I will say I'm a little worried that the sleeves I didn't flare them out, like they're not big enough. There's like some, like they don't fit to my arms, so I don't know. I'm gonna sew them, try it on, see how I feel, and then if I still want to, I'm going to shear the ends, and if I shear the end, I will hem it first, and then I will shear it after. Okay, allegedly, all you need to do to shear is take some elastic thread, thread it around the bobbin. I've not done that yet. Not too tight or not too loose, and then keep the top thread as a normal thread and sew as you normal like as you would, and then steam it afterwards. So, oh, and then also increasing the stitch length and the tension. I don't really know what amount, so I'm gonna play around with that and see what I want. But I have a scrap piece of fabric that I'm gonna try it on and see how it works, and then I'm going to do it on the sleeve. And I think I'm gonna do either 2 or 3 rows on the sleeve, just depending on how I think it looks. So, yeah. Okay, I did 2 practice ones. So this was with a stitch length of 5 and a tension of 6.5. This was with 5 and a stitch length of, or a tension of 7. I will say, I think that the main difference is I think I winded the bobbin a little bit tighter on this one. Um, yeah, so I'm going to do it to the shirt and I'm going to only do 2 rows instead of 3. I don't think it needs 3, so yeah, and then it'll be done. Thanks for watching. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on my social medias. I really love how this shirt turned out, and I can't wait to wear it to line dancing, but I also just can't wait to wear it more in general. So I really hope that y'all liked it. If you made it this far, comment down below if you've ever tried line dancing or any other type of dancing that you've done, and let me know what you want to see next. Until next time, bye guys.